Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. It said, please hold on, we're connecting your channels. The channels are connected. Let me double check now. Facebook, yes. X, yes. So we're on Facebook at The New American Media. Follow our page. We're on X at American_media_. Follow us. The New American Media on YouTube. Subscribe. The New American Media on Twitch, Kick, D-Live, and of course, Rumble at The New American Media. Follow us in all these places. We should be streaming. Let's try that again. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of Minneapolis. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is Tuesday, January 27, 2025. And this right here, the thing that you have found, is called the TNAM Daily Show. TNAM stands for The New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. Something about the sun being very low in the sky gives me a little band of sunlight now. Just for a little bit, just for like the very beginning of the show. But it's only when the sun is in this position. It's not all year long. But now that it is, it's like, I need to either block that out or reconfigure some stuff in the office here. You see the green screen behind. That's magic. But the lighting does play some tricks. It gives you shadows and such. But thank you for being here. On today's program, we're going to discuss President Trump delivering terms to Tim Waltz and Jacob, for fudge's sake, what is his name? Frey? The name is Frey, but it's spelled Frey. Jacob, it's Frey or Frey? I think I've been calling him Frey. And then someone said, no, it's Frey. Well, F-R-Y is F-R-Y. That's Frey. F-R-E-Y is Frey, which is F-R-E-Y. So regardless, did President Trump deliver the terms to Frey, and Waltz? Has Bovino been demoted? And is President Trump backing down? Or is Daddy coming home with Tom Homan going there, the number one? To reset the tone, I believe there was just a ruling with ICE tactics. They had been previously limited by a lower court, and then they were now granted more authorization for more tactics. You saw yesterday in Minneapolis, finally, look at that, working together. Maybe all it took was a conversation. Allegedly, Tim Waltz called President Trump, or vice versa. And they had a good conversation, and we'll discuss what President Trump and Carolyn Leavitt says they said. And then you actually saw some police making some arrests and stopping the stupidity out there in the streets, going, shouldn't they have been doing this from the beginning? Was any of this necessary? So, do we know what's happening? Has there been a retreat from the Trump administration, or are they about to really lay the law down now that they've gathered cell phone information, now that they've gathered license plate information, now that they've figured out the systems and tactics that are being used against them? It's urban warfare, coordinated city to city manuals. The two people who've been expired from making these series of catastrophic decisions out there in Minneapolis. These two people, the reports say that they had been harassing, impeding investigations. Just impeding an ICE operation all day long. Repeatedly told to get out of the way. And they repeatedly kept antagonizing until something bad happened. These are terrible decisions, terrible advice being given to people like this. It's terrible strategy. Could any of this been avoided had the police just been involved and started arresting the people, blowing rape whistles and getting up in the face and blocking the roads? They're just observers. They're observers. No, they're participants. They've become participants in the middle of the street, blocking traffic. Both of them. Oh, he was directing traffic. He's not He's not a traffic cop. He was an antagonizer the whole day long, the most recent one. And it's a strange ideology. You really start to enter cult territory when you start calling for the sacrifice of your members. You must sacrifice yourselves for the greater good. You're really entering dangerous territory. And I think the major concerns laid out by the Trump administration in, I believe it was a Truth Social post, they're pretty clear, they're pretty easy, they're pretty common sense. And so I wonder what's going to happen with that. I don't know. But what I do know is it looks like, where was the next mayor I just saw? Oh, where is the city? Just heard the name. It's escaping me. It wasn't Boston. I don't think it was in Maine. Where was the guy? Are they going to ratchet this stuff up? You saw Bill Clinton. I believe Bill and Hillary Clinton have defied a subpoena to speak to Congress, right? Held in contempt, I think, is where they're at. Barack Obama slithered out from under his rock. And it doesn't seem like there's a capitulation or some agreement. It seems like they're doubling down and they want to keep pushing this. So did President Trump cave? Was he even aware of Bovino being moved back to El Centro? I think that's in California, the area that he was at. Was he demoted? Was he fired? Was he dropped in rank because of failures on the ground? Is this part of the strategy? And they're just going to rotate different people in to take different periods of command, a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there? Don't know. There's a lot that we don't know at this stage. But what we do know is this either stops or continues. You know, I'm having conversations with people that I know, people that I tangentially know, random comments. If someone wants to post something on their personal page and they're used to not close to 100% of everybody agreeing with them and kissing their ass, yeah, I'd like to chime in on those comments section. That's interesting. And I stay mostly respectful most of the time. Someone told me it's weird even talking to me anymore. And I don't really even know what they disagree with. It's just generally they've been taught to hate on the left. If you support the removal of the people who snuck into this country, you're being painted a certain way. You're being dehumanized. You've watched nurses suggest that ICE agents are poisoned. You've watched other medical, air quote, former professionals, I was going to do air quote professionals, call it speaking some sort of incantation or spell, hoping that Carolyn Levitt rips from end to end and has a horrific experience during her childbirth. Really just twisted, dark, demonic shit. And they think they're the good guys. So I warn you, if you ever need to go to a medical facility, you need to know the names and the social media history of the people who are working on you if you can. And medical establishment, you need to purge your roles. You need to get your crazies out of there. There's a Hippocratic oath that you just help. You don't do stuff like this. You don't. With the one guy, he's not going to give anesthesia to Republicans or MAGA supporters. These people think that they're the good guys. They're cosplaying as superheroes. They think this is an act. They think it's a high school drama play. Scott Adams used to talk about the drama kids, the drama club kids. That's what the Democrat Party is. It's just a bunch of not overzealous. They think it's drama class. They think that this is a play. Ask that lady who picked up a flashbang grenade and exploded her hand. Came waddling, rumbling out of in the middle of a police investigation, playing superhero, picks up something that explodes, and it exploded in her hand, comes running out yelling, medic, medic. I'll show you that video. Don't do that. Don't pull your car on the side of the, don't block the road like Nicole Good did. That other guy who they airbrushed his face and changed his appearance. You remember that? Did you see what CNN did? I believe it was CNN. They did the side-by-side of what the guy looks like, and they airbrushed and changed his features to make him a little less, well, you be the judge. You tell me what he looks a little bit less like. And tell me what that they what they tried to make him more so into. They literally changed everything about this guy. His neck, his eyes, his hairline, his nose, his shoulders, the skin tone. They changed this guy to make him more appealing. They are begging the Democrats and the lying legacy media, begging for another George Floyd, another St. George Floyd, something to coalesce a movement around, something, a new leader, a new martyr. Yeah, you have some people saying you need to go sacrifice your bodies out in the streets. You've entered a cult if they're telling you to drink the Kool-Aid and you don't wake up. That's a cult. So how do you handle that? And why is it that other cities aren't having these same problems? Why is it Minneapolis? It's almost like we've stopped talking about the Minnesota fraud, the Minneapolis fraud, the Somali fraud, the Democrat fraud, the Democrats who may have long ago become a domestic terrorist organization, no longer a political party, but a domestic terrorist organization. Maybe they seized the 2020 election in a coup. Well, I remember hearing the exact same thing from Democrats in 2016. Remember, President Trump is an illegitimate president. Russia put him there. And for 4 years, you guys drank the Tim Waltz tap water and ran with that, the illegitimate president, phony impeachment attempts, then the lawfare campaign, Butler, Pennsylvania. I mean, go down the laundry list of stuff that they've done to try to take this guy out. It's not about this guy. It's about the general thrust, propulsion system, pushing the country in this direction, grabbing the Overton window that had been pushed down to the 1 yard line and extending it now back to midfield. And they're advancing fast. They're desperate. They're losing. Nobody likes them. 17% approval rating for the Democrats. So they're pushing because in 2020 they were able to, there was a formula. Okay, so we'll find a way to riot and we'll do it all year long and say Orange Man bad. He's the reason why. No, see what ICE is trying to do is to take your criminal illegal aliens out of your jails and get them the hell out of this country. They're trying to make sure when someone is arrested in your city who's an illegal alien that they're transferred over to ICE for removal. Because we don't need bad people doing bad things in our country. Either you protect and defend the people of our communities, or you're a traitor. Why are the Democrats the way that they are? Didn't Michael Scott say that to Toby one time? Why is it that you are the way that you are? I mean, it was the most disdainful question that you've heard. Why are you the way that you are? Loathsome. Nobody wants monsters hanging around their friends and family and communities, lurking in the shadows, causing problems, committing crimes, abusing women and kids. Nope. So why are the Democrats? What is the end game? It's to flood these American cities with non-citizens who can get counted in the elections. They get counted on the census, and then they get representation specifically. Let me say that. Because of some ridiculous ruling that says you don't base, what is it, your Senate and your House apportionment, it's based on total population, not total citizens. Are you out of your mind? And so they saw an opportunity there to expand their presence and power, the Democrats. If we can overwhelm enough of our deep blue cities, we can steal red states, turn it into a permanent deep state Democrat party. You're never voting your way out of this one. The commies are going to win. The Marxists are going to win. The New World Order globalists are going to win. But I've got libertarians fighting with me, arguing with me, disagreeing with me. They're saying it's not a problem. It's no big deal. We don't need to round up the people that snuck in. Oh, so they win. Oh, I guess we're just done with that then? And ICE are the bad guys? That's your theory. That's your theory. So when the libertarians are bailing on you, it's not the best sign. Not for me, but for them. Why are Thomas Massey, a lot of pseudo-libertarians, literal libertarians, Marjorie Taylor Greene, actively working to sabotage, and many others, actively working to sabotage the Trump agenda? For what reason? Why is John Thune not passing the SAVE Act? Anna Paulina Luna in Congress is saying, hey, we're not passing another single thing until the SAVE Act is done. Do it. Do it now. If you don't demand that you require proof of citizenship prior to voting, we're not going to have a country to save. It's done. It's done. Because you know what's going to happen? If you let them cheat, again, they're going to the maximum capacity, and they're not going to feel the full weight and power of the American people telling them to kindly, politely step aside, fuck off, get out of the way, or go to jail. The people of this country have been absolutely abused by the deep state Democrats. They love their chaos. Then they have the gall to turn around and say, because President Trump is using ICE to remove the illegal aliens that Biden let in, Trump's the bad guy. Trump's somehow the bad guy for cleaning up the mess that the Democrats made to overthrow this country and make sure that non-citizens have more representation than the citizens. To pluck off 1% here, 1% there, a few representatives here and there. And before you know it, you can't ever get anything done. You're getting barely blocked in Congress. The Senate and the House. Oh, it's razor thin. It's razor thin, is it? Okay. How about we run a new census and count the citizens and see how that happens? Or you just throw up your hands and go, I guess we don't have a country anymore. I guess we lost. We lost this war to the commies. The Marxists, the globalists, the New World Order. What do you want to call them? But no, I even have people who are generally on the libertarian side of things saying that it's totalitarian to enforce your border. Are you out of your minds? It's the most common sense, basic thing you can do is defend your border. It's the number one thing you do. And by the way, when you see the domestic terrorists out there in Minneapolis stopping cars, harassing drivers, trying to dox them, drag them out of cars, demanding that they know who they are you with ICE? They've created borders. They're looking for their own security and protection. It's so interesting. They always shriek so loud about the stuff that they are actively engaged in doing. It's more than a trend. It's built into the code of who these people are. And we see through their shit, but is there going to be any unilateral support to stop it? Are there ever going to be any arrests? If you don't arrest the ringleaders across the board, this will obviously continue. It will expand. And we will lose. So, what now? Well, I guess there's reason for concern over what's going on in Minneapolis, with the command and control structure changing. There's reason to be hopeful about what's happening in Minneapolis. Maybe Homan's about to go in there and take off the belt. You said what to your mom? Uh-huh. All right. We'll see. We don't know what we don't know, but that's why we meet every day here on the TNAM Daily Show to unpack the news. We're a bunch of raccoons rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact, trying to engage in a mostly civil conversation. We thank all of you for being here. So hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend, text it to someone, share it on X, share it on something, send a Facebook message, copy the link to share the show to a friend on a text message if you have to. Hit the like button, the thumbs up button. And join us for the show while we rifle through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. This is the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media, and the program starts now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Hey, Jamie, I need you to go ahead and pull up our Rumble wallet. Yes, Patriot Warrior Texas. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what it wants me to download new apps, and I'm not going to download new apps. Shit. Just do it from the site. Why can't I? Why do I need to? Well, I guess I do. I got to put the Bitcoin wallet up here, don't I? All right. Thanks for the reminder. It shouldn't make me leave the Rumble page. I'm already logged in. Let me just set it up. Let me click. I don't want to download another thing. I'm so sick of downloading shit. Too many apps. I have app fatigue. But I know it's another funding mechanism for the show, and I need to embrace it. Speaking of funding mechanisms for the show, let me post this up here so that you can see the best ways to contribute to the New American Media. If you like the show, share the show, support your favorite show. We're on Patreon at the New American Media. You can subscribe to monthly account access on Rumble and YouTube. It's like you can do like $5 a month, as little as. I think there's other options. Then you also have Rumble rants and super chats. You just click it and throw something in the wishing well. We are now the second best month we've had on YouTube. Thank you, everybody who's made that possible. Where is the analytics that I was just looking at? Here we go. So we have surpassed November and October and September, but we are still $50 shy of our top month in December. We have a couple of days left. We have 4 days left. So if you have never supported the show before, this might be a great opportunity for you to do so. And if you have, like I said, your continued support is super crucial and appreciated. I want to thank the person with initials M and N. I said this yesterday, that sent an anonymous $100 donation over to the PayPal. Thank you so much. It matters. Every one of these matters. They're all necessary. You know, they call him a busker, someone who sings for their supper. and I sing for my supper. I stand at the street corner. I open my guitar case. I sit here and I play songs. And if you like what you're hearing, you throw some change into the open guitar case. You peel off a few dollars. Here's a few bucks. Here's 5. Here's 10. Here's 20. Here's a 50. Here's 100. Yeah, that's what you do. And that's what I do. I sit up here and I sing for my supper. So if you like what you're hearing, consider supporting the program in those ways. The Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal are all listed at the bottom. It's my name, Brian Engelman, or of course on PayPal, it's fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. All right. So let me put it on the list. Rumble download wallet. All right, John Boy, Patriot Warrior. All right. Thanks for the reminder. I'll add it to my list. Jamie, put that on my list. Put it on the list, Jamie. All right, let's pull up the comments section. Let's see who's in the program today. Yeah, I did start the show a little early today. I got it queued up. Sometimes I'm like rushing to put it out there right at 11:45, 15 minutes before the show. I got to get better at that, I guess. But sometimes I don't really know what we're going to talk about until we get into the show. Right until I'm at the end of doing show prep, do I know what I'm going to title it? And I don't want to do that in advance because stories change. So thanks for being here. Hello to John, Trash Panda, Texas, Droopy Dog, Lake Leon. What's up, everybody? Marion, howdy, everyone. Lake Leon saying that nobody will be held accountable. Then we're toast. If that's the case, we're toast. Why even try? I know. We got to do better than that. Look at John checking in from Facebook, proving that it works. It'd be great if more people joined us on Facebook. We have such a robust... actually, you know what? Maybe I could share the show. Let me see if I can make this happen. See, it's not even coming up. I'm typing the New American. It's not even telling me the New American Media. Insane. Why wouldn't it auto-populate that? Here's the show. So let me share to all these places. Join our live daily show right now. All right. We are in and we have shared this. It's just a clunky system. I shouldn't feel like I shouldn't need to do it that way. One of these days, my kingdom for a producer and for a production team. One of these days. All right. But thank you for joining us on Facebook for sure. Marion says only conservatives get held accountable. I know. Trash Panda saying the GOP are traitors. Well, I mean, what is Speaker Thune? John Thune? A lot of people had concerns about him, and he's not getting anything across the desk. How quick can he be replaced? If he's not doing his job, how quick can he? What is the process, and how do we do it? Miraculous Botanical says you're describing your cultist mindset, and you're framing yourself as a victim of this. I'm not encouraging my side to go out and interfere with law enforcement to become a martyr. They're literally out there saying, quote, sacrifice your bodies. That's cult behavior. I don't know when you lost us, Miraculous Botanical. There's nothing cultish about my behavior. I don't know if you're the same person that we met a couple months ago. I just don't know where your comments are coming from. You say you're part of the reason. No, I have not encouraged anybody to do something so stupid as to impede a federal investigation and end up as collateral damage, because I don't want to see it. I never wanted to see it. You could call it tragic. You could call it disgusting. It's completely unnecessary. But it's all the Democrats have, so that's all they're pushing. And you seem to be supporting this now. You've done a complete 180. I'd love to know why, but it doesn't make sense to me. Say it's a uniparty dog and pony show. You've become part of the show. I'm the commentator of the show. I'm the man with the microphone. I'm the observer discussing what I'm seeing. Nobody has ever paid me to say the thing that they want me to say. I'm not an actor. I don't read a fucking script. I am commentating on live action. I do it when I watch live streams. We'll do live streams of sports. Speaking of live streams of sports, and remind me that's where I'm at. We'll get right back to it. We have Strictly Football today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Ezrael Robinson, Jim Mitchell, and Mike Barra. We are all going to be on Strictly Football today at 3 p.m. Eastern discussing the Seahawks versus the Patriots. That program will be a part of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show here on the New American Media. Merchandise alert, by the way, if you want to support the program, we have coasters for the sports show, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. 30 Ohio-made wooden laser-etched coasters. Ohio-shaped or circle-shaped. And we also have pins for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Pins are $25. A set of 4 wooden coasters, Ohio-made, are $30, or 2 for $50, includes shipping. $75 for all 3 of these. Shoot me a Venmo at BrianEngelman, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, along with your address, and I'll mail these out to you. And if you would like a mug to support the New American Media, it says the New American Media, black and white and red all over like the newspaper. You could set it on your coasters. Mugs are $40, includes $10 shipping and handling, continental United States shipping. Shoot me a Venmo with your address, and we'll send you a mug. I'm a commentator. I'm not part of a cult. We have a massive flashing red light security breach. There are piles and piles and piles of American bodies dead at the hands of illegal alien invaders. None of these should have happened. None. Zero. You want to call me a cult member for trying to shepherd over my flock so that the wolves don't eat all the sheep? Well, I don't even know what to say to that. My intentions are good, and we have a massive security breach inside this country that we need to get to the bottom of. And you have places like Minneapolis not turning over the dirtbags who are in their custody, not prosecuting the dirtbags so it doesn't mess up their numbers or it doesn't disrupt their voter base. Whatever the accusations are, the common sense thing is to get the bad people out of here. That's not cult behavior. Ignoring self-preservation is cult behavior. In fact, you must sacrifice yourself and cede your country's sovereignty. Because liberty, 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 liberty. Really? That's libertarian. That's a healthy distrust of the government, is to let the last government, who many say were illegitimately seized control of this country in a coup, to flood the nation with tens of millions of illegal alien invaders. You want to trust that government to just let them get away with that shit. But you're going to claim to be anti-government or small government or libertarian leaning or sovereign citizen, or I don't know. I don't know what version you are, Nick. I don't know what version Dan is. I don't know. Dan from last week, we had him on talking about the very confusing stance where he says he doesn't think that the invasion of our country is a big deal. And to say, well, the illegal aliens, it's not like they commit crimes at a higher rate than Americans. Like just there's nothing here. There's nothing to do. Just let them stay. Huh? Excuse me? No, everybody out. Security breach in the nightclub. Lights on, DJ stops, open the back door. Everybody out. Come to the front again. Your green wristband no longer works. Purple wristband only. Everybody gets a new wristband. We're starting over. Security breach. I've done that. I've literally done that in Long Beach running a day-long music show. You can't sneak in your underage girlfriends. You can't sneak in bottles of booze. You can't sneak in drugs. You can't sneak. That's my ass on the line if you're doing that. You bring in fentanyl-laced stuff. You're going to abuse people while you're there. You're going to steal from us. Hell no. Especially people that we know, had we checked your license and your name, compared it to our list of do not serve these people, they've been kicked out of this club before, you got no right to be here. And it's cult behavior to act that way, to act like, how dare we kick out the people that broke in? Yeah, get them out of here. So you think that's cultist mindset? I don't really know what to tell you. Don't really know what else to tell you. Hello, David. Hey, everybody. Yes, having a good time in here. Marion says, we now have two pretty good examples of how not to act with ICE. They were both following them around all day, according to sources. I believe the good situation was confirmed that they were following them around, blowing rape whistles, blocking traffic, impeding investigation, trying to get an escalation on camera like the girlfriend wife was, drive, baby, drive. They're cosplaying as superheroes. That fat lady runs in and picks up a flashbang grenade that explodes in her hand. Who taught these people this is a good idea? Awful idea. Don't do that. But I'm in a cult for telling them to cut their shit out. I'm in a cult. Awesome. Where the fuck do these people get off saying shit like that? I for the life of me, I don't understand it. And it does get frustrating. I try to be mostly civil most of the time. I don't want to see ladies blowing their hands off. I don't want to see some lady gunning her vehicle, hitting an ICE officer. I don't want to see somebody interfering with an investigation in the middle of the street. And that makes me the bad guy. I don't have any fucking time for that type of bullshit. I will engage it because I'm legit trying to understand what happened. How does that thought process, that mindset even begin? But also, we got other stuff to get to. Trash Panda says the sewer is deep and corrupt. Yes, it is. Miraculous. It's funny you think ICE can be doxxed. Their information is public already. It's not doxing. Why is that funny? That they're being followed around and hunted. That's not fucking funny. That's insurrection. That's civil war, bro. That's not fucking funny at all. Zero funny. Attacking them in a restaurant if you think that it's them. Stopping random people, non-affiliated people, because you're suddenly judge, jury, and executioner, and you get to patrol your community and damn near pulling people out of their vehicles because you suspect they're ICE. You get to break the windows at the hotel, maybe burn it down because you think there's ICE in there. Fuck you, fuck them, fuck that, fuck all that shit. Nope. Nothing funny about that. But thanks for saying that's funny, that we think that they can be doxxed and harassed and followed around, because they are. Same people that exploded Charlie Kirk, the same people that shot President Trump. Same people that engaged in nonstop civil rights violations, spy campaigns with Perkins Coie, Russiagate, on candidate Trump, the 2 fake impeachments, the lawfare, the assassination attempts. America's sick of the shit, and we see who's behind it. I don't think the Democrats are a legitimate political party. They've devolved into a domestic terrorist organization, and I've been saying that. Go back and track the transcripts. I've been saying that shit for a long time. A long time. Like Leon, is that he will not be replaced? They're all a part of the sewer. Who won't be replaced? All right. Thank you all for being here. We do encourage mostly civil conversation, so thanks for participation. Speaking of mostly civil conversation, let's check in with the pink hat wearing people over at CNN. They have legitimate grievances. I guess if I don't agree with this guy, then I must be in a cult, right?
I understand that, but they take people to Fort Snelling here, which literally was built as a concentration camp, and Alligator Alcatraz, which I think we can all agree is a concentration camp.
Which I think we can all agree is a concentration camp. It's a staging grounds for deportation. Pink Cat wants to call it a concentration camp because they're evoking the worst of the worst to dehumanize MAGA and common sense people as Nazis so that they can be exploded like Charlie Kirk was in Utah. Nope. Fuck that guy.
Not saying they're Dachau. I'm not saying they're putting people in ovens yet.
Oh, it's not Dachau. And they're not putting people in ovens yet. You expect them to do so. So dog whistle, dog whistle, dog whistle, right? Uh-huh.
But these are concentration camps.
Okay.
I don't need to argue with you about
yeah.
I understand.
Wow. Trash. Pure trash. The dehumanizing continues. Thanks, CNN.
Seen it.
For a public service announcement, is there a way that you can go to your parents or your aunts or uncles or your grandparents, if they're watching CNN or MSNBC unironically, other than to just laugh at them, maybe there's a setting on the remote where you can block the channels so they can break free of their brainwashing. Oh, okay. Like Leon says, you were talking about Thune. John Thune will not be replaced. They are all a part of the sewer. Thank you. Yes, I encourage everybody when you're leaving comments, leave robust comments so that they can stand alone if I give to them 5 minutes later and I don't remember exactly what we're talking about. Try to leave great comments so that I can engage with them. I really do try. No, I don't need things to be an echo chamber. I don't. As evidenced by the intro now. Other opinions welcome, I guess. Patriot Warrior Texas over in Rumble says we can bitch all we want about Pam Bondi, Mike Johnson, and Thune. They are a part of the sewer and will not be replaced. Lord Almighty. Well, let's get to Real America's Voice here, talking about protester tactics exposed. Yeah, this is highly coordinated. It's insurrectionist activity.
Seen it. Can you give a basic summary? What are the tactics they are describing? What's the whole process for how this unfolds for maybe a typical ICE convoy?
So as soon as they see a vehicle that they believe is federal law enforcement, they will send the plates into these signal rapid response groups. They have several occupations. There are people who are on motor patrols, so they're like in their cars and they're driving around looking for federal agents. There are stationary patrols, people in their cars sitting on corners. There are foot patrols, people walking around on foot, and then people stationary on foot as well. You'll see them on corners everywhere you go in Minneapolis. Those people are constantly just looking for plates. Then there are plate checkers, and that's indicated by an emoji of a dinner plate. That means that those are people who are probably home checking plates and comparing them to their Airtable database. Okay, and then you have dispatchers who run a 24/7 call. It's active right now, who tell people what intersections to go to. They check the plates, they confirm.
So do you see that this is not... There's a big difference between protesting in the city square, as we have a right to petition our government for redress of grievances, go to City Hall. Yeah, everybody has a right to do that. You have no right to get up involved in obstructing a federal investigation. This stuff, this is doxing. Miraculous. This is doxing. You're hearing all of the ways that they are they're hunting. They're hunting ICE, looking for these problems, trying to instigate situations. And you said you thought it was funny. I don't think it's funny at all.
And they tell people, go here. And then all of the patrols go to that location. And that's how they all end up there. And the goal is, of course, to impede federal law enforcement. That's their expressly stated goal. And that's exactly what they do. They obstruct, they de-arrest, and they aid and abet illegal immigrants. They help vulnerable communities, they call them. And that's pretty much the synopsis. The network was nuked after I exposed it, and they've already rebuilt it. I'd say it's probably about at half capacity of what it was before.
Seen it. Can you give a basic summary? What are
being hunted, organized domestic terrorism? That's what we'll put as a comment. Democrats are now a domestic terrorist organization. Button. Let's see if anyone agrees. I don't really even want to watch this anymore. Reaches for his holster area, pulls out what appears to be a secondary magazine, or was it just a cell phone? I don't know. There's the new angle. I want to watch the new angle of this. But anyway, the SIG P320 is notorious for negligent discharging. There's over 100 lawsuits on that. It sort of appears from some angles that the weapon was taken from his holster while he was being arrested. And in the process of moving the gun and moving out of the scrum, the pistol went off without the trigger being squeezed, as is known for this SIG model. And then after they yelled gun, and then after a shot went off, that's when the shots went off. It's unfortunate, it seems. Doesn't seem malicious. It seems unnecessary and stupid on every level. I wonder if we can get the new clip. Yeah, it looks like the one he's walking away. That's the one right there, and it discharges there. I mean, you want to blame him for slide is visibly to the rear in this frame, allegedly? I don't know. But there's new footage that shows the beginning of the altercation. Because he was repeatedly told to get out of the road on more than one occasion. He had been doing this throughout the day. Very specifically a foot soldier and on a mission of antagonism. He was playing stupid games and he got a stupid prize. And it's unfortunate. And yeah, you're right, Marion. Cops don't have slow motion to make a split-second decision. So there you go. All right, Nick Sorter with the video here. Who's this guy? Zach Raw Shorts.
Anti-ICE rioters have now seized control of the road outside Minneapolis, blocking vehicles to ensure occupants aren't Nazis before allowing them to pass.
It's just what I said.
I try to say this again and again and again. They're introducing their own traffic stops. Isn't it crazy how the people that want no borders immediately start making borders? Isn't it crazy how the people that don't like random checks start making random checks? Isn't it crazy how the people that don't want a police state start becoming the police? What are the odds of that? Anti-ICE rioters have now seized control of the...
All right. There you go. Is this Ryan McCubbin? What is this? Oh, this is a whole meme drop. This was LAX in 1962. The future came and went. Oh, it's so much lamer now. That looks so much cooler. I think there were a couple good ones in here. My rich friends text me back instantly. My broke friends take 2 hours to reply. That's not an effing coincidence. New visa restrictions under Trump. For some reason, India's not on there for some reason. Jobs requiring a bachelor's degree paying $45,000 a year is a joke. Well, yeah, that's true. Once you realize that the general public is not that sharp, you stop caring about how crazy you look to them. The architect says, trust me, liberal women aren't going to lead a revolution. They're in the middle of this mess, that's for sure. QE says, our whole economy is fake. Fake GDP growth, fake job growth openings, fake inflation numbers. Everything's manipulated to look awesome. Unusual Whales reports 34% of jobs advertised were positions listed with no intent to hire, per BBC. A third of all jobs are completely fake. This one's kind of funny. Kenny says, nobody's burning DVDs. Nobody's recording to VHS. The 2020s are going to be a huge black hole for lost media. Quote, yeah, nobody saved anything from that time period for some reason. Our best guess is people just stood around and vaped all day, but this is a hotly debated subject in academic circles. It is weird. I don't like this only streaming. That stuff can be taken away. I'm not a fan. Grand Canyon pictures, trying to encourage people to not stand on toilets. I think they're saying we've imported the third world, and now our country is looking different. Top G says most women are slowly learning the fact that they won't marry rich men, and they are very, very pissed off. It's an interesting thought. Could that be contributing to the radicalization of American women? I don't know. Glenn says, I cannot make this any clearer. Americans are drastically underestimating the severity of what is happening in America right now. I could agree. Mike says, here's my theory about America. Nobody in this country learns what they need for life, either from school or parents or anywhere else. So every important lesson is learned by undergoing traumatic events and making terrible mistakes that leave huge emotional scars. Oof. Why aren't we teaching better? Daz says, so basically boomers lived the dream while millennials paid the debt, and Gen Z was born into burnout and fighting to rewrite the rules. Uncommon Sense says, here's a pro tip. If you're going to the hospital, don't give them your name or address. They still have to treat you, and then they can't charge you. Now you know what it's like to be an illegal immigrant. You're welcome. That's wild. This one's deep. I watched a man film his daughter's first steps, and he watched it through a screen. She walked toward him, and he was not there. He was in the rectangle, and she reached for a ghost. That's the whole thing now. We are building a perfect archive of a life that no one attended. Ugh. We're building a perfect archive of a life that no one attended. Nada says the people who knew COVID was bullshit in real time are a great resource for truth in 2026. Ryan says the great replacement has occurred within just one lifetime. It can be reversed in just one lifetime. Dr. Simon Goddick says, I sometimes envy people who can just live day to day, watch sports, cheer for a team, and never realize they're being conditioned. I wouldn't trade places with them because once you're awake, you can't really go back to sleep. Still, being clueless must be unbelievably relaxing. That was a lot of interesting thoughts there. Any of those stick out to you from reading it? David with the question, just a question. How do we solve 30 million illegal aliens in the country? You remove them. And I'm all about some sort of fast track for the people that will raise their hand. And this doesn't guarantee citizenship. It just says we're not going to prioritize this, but we need to run a background check on you and give you a card that says you entered perhaps under illegitimate circumstances. You're not quite a citizen. Maybe you snuck in. Maybe someone promised you something, but they weren't. Who knows? But if you can just produce a card and say, look, I'm on the radar of the federal government. I've raised my hand. I've identified myself. David. That's what I think. And there's some people that pledge to, they get a number. They get a identified alien number, IAN, that will allow them to pay taxes on the table, over the table, contributing into the system and not allowed to take public housing assistance, medical assistance, food assistance, clothes. Like, you're not going to sneak into our country and steal our shit. But if you want to come here and you want to learn the language, you want to assimilate, learn our Bill of Rights and Constitution, you're not going to jump into some enclave and not blend into America. You're going to actually blend in, go about the process of becoming a citizen. Then I think maybe you could push your name to the very back of that deportation list. I think there's room for some of that. And that doesn't mean you still won't have to go, but it means if you're ever caught up in a situation, you can say, look, I check in person once a month. I check in online every week. Come up. Nimbus is allegedly wanting to come up. We'll see if he does. I think that would be something I could entertain a conversation about that. David says one problem also is the ones who get court dates never show up for them. Yeah, because it's all a dog and pony show. They don't intend for that to happen. They're being coached to do that. All right. Miraculous. You literally just said leftists are patrolling the streets, ripping people out of their cars if they think they're ICE. You've got to be kidding me. That's what ICE does. What do you do in a security breach? What are you supposed to do in a security breach? Well, let's watch this here. Anti-ICE activists in Minneapolis tail a car for over an hour. Yeah, that's not doxing. That's not harassment. You said in the comments that's what ICE is. Well, hold on, it shifted. You said that's what ICE does to us. No, ICE doesn't do that to us because we're citizens. They don't do that to us. They don't. And if you're a citizen, you're like, yeah, I live here, bro. Born in America. Good to go. Thanks. Keep up the good work. Get the bad guys out. Good day. That's all. No, they're not doing that to us. But this is what the rioters are doing.
We aren't ICE. We are not ICE. We're not ICE. Because you're fucking ICE. We're not ICE.
I'm showing my face. I'm not.
We continue. We're not ICE. Yeah, they've been following us for over an hour. We're not ICE.
Being doxxed, being harassed, being threatened. Not funny.
We're just letting them know, and they.
Not in a nice vehicle, right?
No. Right.
Right. Get in your truck and get the fuck out. Why?
Yeah. Okay, guy. Okay, tough guy.
You need to go. Confirmed ICE. Get the fuck out.
Confirmed ICE through who? We're American citizens. We're not ICE.
These are the people that you're abducting. Get out. Please go.
Because they've been following us for over an hour.
Why are you guys here? What are you here doing? Where do you live? Yeah, where are you from?
It's just, the irony is palpable. The same group that calls show your papers authoritarian and fascist, turning right around demanding papers themselves when suspicion hits. They even run their own ICE database to track suspected vehicles and flip when someone questions them.
The protest is public property. What are you talking about? Did you come in that car right there?
Yeah, this truck. And they're saying we're popping up in an ICE database.
Well, then you're in it. We're not.
What's the database?
Get the fuck out of here, then. We look like ICE now.
No ice. Nothing on me. Prove it.
We're not ICE.
I don't have no weapons. Let me see your IDs of where you live.
No, they've been following us. That's why we got out and confronted them.
Great.
You think that's okay?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. I'm curious
You messed with our
about.
neighborhood? Yes. 100%. Yes.
I'm curious, I guess, how you get into an ICE database.
We're not ICE. Okay, thank you. So you're messing up.
Uh-huh. Awesome. Color revolution, people, being orchestrated from the top down. The terror cell must be dismantled. Or just lose because they are fighting you. Matt Van Swole says this. When Charlie Kirk was taken out in front of the world, you never saw any of this. What's this? F ICE. A pig is a pig. F ICE. Death to America. Kill ICE. They're saying all over in their gang graffiti. When Charlie Kirk was taken out in front of the world, you never saw any of this, says Matt Van Swol. Instead, what I saw were prayer vigils, thousands of people singing hymns in the streets, and millions going back to church. I know what side I'm on. Why are you on the other side? Anybody? If you're on the other side, why are you on the other side? Lake Leon, if somebody follows me for more than a minute, they will find out. Not after an effing hour. Dave says a lot of people use the same sort of thing with abortion. They always go to the extreme excuses to make their point. Oh, yeah. Well, what if it's incest? What if the mother's life is in danger? Yep. What about the other 99%? Well, just, if it's this, then it's got to be all of that. And that's what they're trying to do with ICE. Don't get it twisted. They're asking you to become a martyr for their cult, to sacrifice your life so that you can raise that up and say, well, look what happened. Because of that, the whole thing must come down. No, it damn well does not. Your side needs to stop encouraging people to make terrible series of catastrophic decisions. That's what needs to happen. This isn't the end game of abolishing ICE. This isn't an option. It's a non-starter. So weird. Marion says, if you commit fraud of our tax dollars, you need to go to jail. Yes. Allegedly. Still waiting. Tim Poole shared this. Was this the same clip?
We aren't ICE. We are not ICE.
Yeah, I think
we're not ICE.
Masked leftists demanding people's papers, holy F. When ideological groups begin acting like law enforcement, you are at a critical point in societal collapse. Don't do this. And here we are. Hey, leftists. Where was the outrage for her? Irina Zarutska, IRYNAZARUTSKA. Say her name. Where was the outrage for that? David, I just can't comprehend what they can't understand about being illegally in the country. They do understand, but they don't care. They snuck into Disneyland. We're staying. No, you're not. You're leaving. Well, not if I make enough of a scene. Maybe if we sacrifice ourselves and some of us get hurt. What was that, Nimbus? Here, go look for that. If we cause so much of a stink, they'll just let us stay at Disney. We already snuck in. We got away with it. And by the way, let's just go eat. Nobody can charge us. Let's cut to the front of the lines. Make a mess in the bathroom. Okay, cool. Not cool. It's not complicated. David, I don't agree with tyranny, but they are doing things they say will help police and federal agents do their jobs. Miraculous. So police have license plate readers, and it's public. What has protest ever done? And you're saying nothing happens from voting either? I mean, well, what then? Yeah, I don't think you're the same person that used to be in here, that allegedly became a Patreon supporter for 2 weeks and then canceled and used to be cool. There's a different name here, and you act like a dick. I don't know where the old Nick went. That guy was all right. But calling me full of shit is not productive, because I'm not. So If you trust authorities and police with our information more than you trust the average U.S. citizen, I'm a bootlicker and in a cult. Yeah, I gotcha. Insults loud and clear. This isn't productive conversation anymore. So we're going to keep going. You can keep the insults to yourself. Local police just pulled up to the scene of the protest with an armored tank, dispersing the crowd with less than lethal smoke everywhere. Police saying everyone here is under arrest. Finally, Anthony Calabasa reporting this. You're all under arrest.
We're all under arrest. Sit down on the ground. This is a lawful order from the Minneapolis Police Department. You are under arrest.
This is all they ever needed to do in the beginning. For the life of me, I just don't understand why they weren't doing this from the moment this started. Except that the Democrats are pushing it intentionally to try to make MAGA, conservatives, Republicans, common sense people look stupid. We got Miraculous Nick in here hurling insult after insult, trying to make us look stupid. It's not working. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. Removing people that don't belong is the most common sense thing you could imagine. Opposing that doesn't make sense, no matter how you want to slice it. But there they are, arresting people.
Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
And that guy was judicious and just told him, get the fuck out of here.
Let's go. Let's go. Keep moving. Let's go. Keep moving.
This is all they ever had to do. They could have done this from the beginning. There's no reason why they didn't, why they had to avoid this from the beginning.
Let's go. Sir, that guy right there, he has a gun over there. That guy? There's a guy over there with a gun.
All right. So things have maybe changed a little.
Mr.
All right, here's Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche taking a blowtorch to NBC's Kristen Welker with an insane accusation that American Ds are part of the collateral damage in Trump's immigration policies. It's so crazy. They're trying to pin on Trump what the left is doing to themselves. They're punching themselves in the face and then complaining about it, saying, look what Trump made me do. You've done this to yourself. Talk about the worst of the worst. I think Kristen Welker might be the worst of the worst.
Blanche, is the death.
By the way, when we typed the worst of the worst, Instagram hid the post. It refused to let me hit send on that. We had to change the O to a asterisk. You're not allowed to say Kristen Welker is the worst of the worst. But you tell me, are you a fan?
Of U.S. citizens, a price the Trump administration is willing to pay to carry out its immigration policies.
Well, what does it have to do with whether it was a U.S. citizen or not? Any death is wrong.
Two of the deaths
should not
were U.S.
happen
citizens.
in law enforcement.
Two of the people killed were U.S. citizens. President Trump said his goal was to deport the worst of the worst people. My question for you is this part of the collateral damage, something that the administration is willing to accept as a part of its crackdown on people who are here illegally?
It shouldn't be. It should not be. And you don't see it anywhere in this country. I mean, I'm very confused about why the conversation is about what you're talking about instead of focusing on what really matters, which is why in one city, in one place do we have these problems. We deport 10 times the number of illegal aliens out of Texas than we do out of Minneapolis. Why do we hear nothing out of Texas about any of the same problems that we have in Minneapolis? I'll tell you why. Because in Texas, we have the cooperation and support of local law enforcement so that we can do these operations safely, keeping U.S. citizens and others protected and safe. That is not what we have in Minneapolis. And the fact that it's the administration that's being blamed for the utter failure of leadership in Minneapolis is not right.
Mr. Blanche, is the death of U.S. citizens.
Yeah. Democrats did this to themselves. Democrats demanded this chaos. And then they try to say it's Trump causing the chaos. I disagree completely. Disagree completely. All right. Let's go to our X feed. We got a lot to get to today. And then, of course, we have at 3 o'clock Strictly Football. So I do need to speed things up a little bit. Kenneth says, I agree, Brian. What do you agree with? Once again, please finish a sentence. Complete a sentence. Agree, Brian, about what? David, stop the nonsense and let the federal agents do their jobs. Exactly. This is my job. So if you want to sign up on Patreon and maybe not cancel your subscription after a month, that's where it's at. It's on Patreon at The New American Media, right there pinned at the top of our X feed at American_media_. And at least please sign up for the free version of Patreon as well. Reminder, Rumble Rants and Super Chats available while I strum the guitar and sing you some songs here on the street corner. Here's Carolyn Levitt. Mainstream media is silenced and stunned after Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt reminds them about what Barack Hussein Obama did with this man. She's going to show you a picture. Sean Hannity put this up. Elon reshared it, and now we're sharing it. Watch this.
This is a Washington.
Why'd the volume all the way low? Wait, it's all the way up? Oh, let me turn it up in the studio. It is up kind of. Let's see if you can hear this clip.
This is a Washington Post headline from 9 years ago, 2016. Meet the man the White House has honored for deporting illegal immigrants. And I would remind everyone in this room that it was former President Barack Hussein Obama who awarded a medal to Mr. Homan. So he's obviously very qualified. He has the full trust and faith of the president. He will continue to have these meetings in the hopes that ICE and local law enforcement can cooperate and work together to have successful immigration enforcement, as we've seen in almost every other state across the country. This is a
So there you go. Giving Tom Homan a medal, and now they're calling him an NZ. Weird, huh? Why is Ken Dorsey trending? Bills might make offensive coordinator Joe Brady their new head coach. We'll see. Lake Leon says, tell me when and where the normal people stopped or impeded the Democrat administration. Great point. 600,000 patriots went to Washington, D.C. to protest what appeared to be an obviously rigged election. Although under duress, I have to tell you, go to cdc.gov, who.int, or cisa.gov/rumor control to go find your countervailing views that will tell you the 2020 election was the only free and fair election in the history of elections. And every claim of election interference has been unproven in a court of law, although that doesn't make it untrue. They want you to get those countervailing views. Yeah, it is a permanent domestic terrorist campaign being run by the Democrats, and it has been for more than a decade. 17 years, the Obama era, 2 Trump terms, actually more than that, since 2008. I guess 18 years we're on now. 2 Obama terms, the Trump term, we're 17. Then the Biden term, and then year 1 of Trump. Yeah, roughly 20 years of Obama at the helm. The community agitator in chief has weaponized these foot soldiers to attack people. Summer of Love riots 2020, you're seeing it in Minneapolis. It's sort of their game plan. It's what they do. Normal people don't do that to the Democrats. Doesn't happen. Hey, you want to see, here's your laugh of the day. This is for you, Kenneth. This is your lead. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This isn't her. It's not up in Minneapolis. For all you New Yorkers, get some tips from the Buffalo governor. There's a right way to shovel out from the storm. Enjoy.
Pro tips on shoveling from someone from Buffalo who knows. Just push it out of the way. Okay, see what I'm doing here? No strain on the back from doing that. Now when it gets a lot heavier, you're going to have to do a little bit more, but don't lift much. Just do it in smaller bits, okay? Little bits. You can do this. Don't do a big pile and fill this up because that can lead to a heart attack. You don't want that. Pro tips on shoveling from someone from Buffalo who knows.
I want to. Dana Lash says this woman has never shoveled snow. I used to do that. That was part of the kids' economy back in the pre-high school days or early high school days. Snow time, go around the community, knock on doors. Do you want your snow? You want your yard shoveled? And you give them a price, and they'd say yes or no. Oh, Kenneth, you were born in New York. There you go. What is this? Ian Miles Chong says Spain is fast-tracking a decree to pass the legalization over 500,000 illegal aliens and asylum seekers today, which will provide them with full legal status in Europe and allow them to cross into any EU country for work or residency and give them welfare benefits? Yeah, here's a good reminder that you can pray for ICE. It's a pretty good idea. Dear Lord Heavenly Father, there's a lot of angst out there, and we want to pray for the protection of ICE and the people that ICE encounter. We want to pray for the discernment of the people so that they decide not to involve themselves and impede in an ongoing investigation to remove known criminal illegal aliens from our country. Keep everyone safe grant the deep state Democrats discernment enough to know that it's a bad idea to keep using the same strategies that have caused some of the recent chaos that we've seen. In your name we pray. Amen. I want to see them safe. I want to see everyone safe. And if you want to avoid ICE, here's how you do it. Number one, don't be here illegally. That's a part that, we just gloss over this. That's the number one part. If you're not here illegally, you have no problem with ICE. So no, like, oh, this could happen to us. It's a slippery slope. No, it can't. No, it can't. Because we won't be here illegally. And number two, we won't attack ICE officers because that's a really bad idea. Obey federal state laws. There you go. Zero Wealth says the sooner Americans admit to themselves that Democrats are communists, the sooner we can begin repairing the damage they have done. That feels fair. This is a 3.5 minute clip here, so I won't play it, but Katie G shared this. The Unquirer Graham Plattner calls for the far left to rise up in Maine. You know where it's at? In Lewiston, Maine. Speech the media doesn't show you. He's instructing socialists to join systems like their Signal chat, get their special training manuals, and follow the Minnesota model to confront ICE directly. This is called doxing. This is called harassing. This is called impeding a federal investigation. He also directly praises Shenna Bellows for removing the undercover license plates that makes this sedition possible, to dox and attack ICE agents and their families. But wait a minute, I thought I was just told that's not happening. Dare I say I was mocked and ridiculed and laughed just 10 minutes ago for suggesting such a thing. But you're not going to gaslight me. We all see the tactics. ICE operations have been carried out fine in Maine, which is a problem for the Democratic Socialists who want to seize power in New England. Graham plans to stop that. This is the Lewiston rally that the Maine Wire was blocked from entering. Many controlled media outlets were there and reported on this, and yet left this out on purpose because they knew Mainers would be shocked to hear this. Cam Higbee just infiltrated the Signal chat and systems in Minnesota that have been used to impede and fight ICE. Discovering politicians, political figures, police, and far-left activists using it illegally to combat the federal government in an insurrection. Share this with everyone you know. We must fight back against the far-left socialists in Maine attempting to seize power and spark their revolution. Bill O'Reilly has some thoughts on this.
Did you see, Leland, and because you've been studying it like I have, one Minneapolis police officer protecting ICE against the demonstrators? Did you see one?
No, but that's not the FBI's job to investigate them.
The answer is no. The answer is no. You didn't see one because there wasn't one there. And this is a public safety issue with dead people. No local or state cops. None. By order of the governor and the mayor. That is insane.
Well,
Now,
that may be
those men-
insane, Bill, but you want Kash Patel to investigate the governor because he didn't order the police to protect
You bet
ICE?
I do.
That's the solution?
You bet
Okay.
not protecting ICE. If the FBI comes in and finds that the agents, the federal agents, one ICE, one Border Patrol, all right, were derelict in their duties or used malice, I want those people indicted. Clear? Are we clear? But on the same token, you have got two elected officials that could be charged with rebellion and insurrection under the U.S. Code 2383. This is a rebellion. That is why the people are dead. Nobody brings a gun, a loaded gun, nobody, CNN, to a confrontation with federal agents who are under siege.
That particular point. We have every right to carry. If you're carrying, you best not get up close and personal involved in an altercation with the police. That's an incredibly bad idea. And if you're getting arrested, it would be a great idea to put your hands out to the side and allow yourself to get arrested with a sidearm on your hip. And I believe there's a duty to inform law enforcement if you're carrying when you encounter law enforcement. I have a sidearm. If you're on your knees and you've been pepper sprayed, you could say, I have a sidearm. I have a, you tell them, you put your hands over your head, like you put your arms out, you allow yourself to get arrested. You don't stay and fight. It's just horrible strategy. It's horrible tactics. So no, Bill O'Reilly, you got every right to show up in public, walk around in public with a loaded weapon. You're damn right you have every right to do that. So this whole Kash Patel thing, this Bill O'Reilly thing that, well, obviously he showed up with a gun. Irrelevant. And don't you dare try to make people feel bad for exercising their Second Amendment. But that dude was fucking with the cops all day long, with ICE, all day long, allegedly. I think I have that story accurate. If I'm incorrect on that, I'll change my tune. But my understanding is that he was doing the same thing Renee Good was doing. Part of the mob, part of the doxing mob. Yes, they are doxing and following and harassing and impeding an investigation. All illegal, and they should have been arrested. Had they just been arrested, they wouldn't have been able to get in this situation. But they need more troops. They need more people to make the arrests. They need the participation of the local police, don't they? So I disagree with Bill O'Reilly on that particular point. And Kash Patel and the assistant AG that put something else out, stupid, saying that, well, he had a gun, so he almost like he deserved it. No, he didn't. Having a gun doesn't mean you have the right to be killed any more than wearing a short skirt means you get to be abused. We'll say that. You don't blame the victim. But this pretty guy was no victim. There's a longer, I wonder if I can just play the video because I just watched it on, where was I at? Let me see. Let me see if I can find this. New video, ready in street. Because there's like a new version of this. These are, let's share this tab instead. Let's go side by side. Take this off the screen. There we go. In the middle of the street. This is not just some observer. I'm driving around. I'm parking the car. I'm on the sidewalk. Like, he's in the street blocking traffic. This is the girl that gets shoved as she goes up to him in the road to confront him. There he is filming in the middle of the street. What's this one? Preddy grabs the officer after he pushes the woman out of the middle of the street. You have no right to be blocking traffic in the middle of the street. This is not protesting. This is being an asshole. It's terrible strategy, terrible tactics. This is why Preddy got pepper sprayed. He not only stepped into the situation, but also made physical contact with the officer. Right here. Very bad idea. He doesn't know. You never touch an officer. Are you going for his gun? For what reason are you putting your hands on an officer? This is right here. Look, his arm's extended. He's pushing his forearm into the officer. We haven't seen this video yet. We haven't seen that angle of it yet. Where is the long? There's another angle. I mean, I guess it's this guy standing in the middle of the street and blocking traffic and ICE agents. But there was a video with this. I'm seeing still frames. But they're man. Is this it? Okay. The lady that gets pushed is here in the middle of the road. People all around are blowing their stupid whistles, impeding in the investigation with ICE. No, that's not protesting. By the way, everybody, make sure you smash the thumbs up and like button, whether you're in Rumble or YouTube or wherever. But these are the people in the street going over to confront ICE and yell at ICE. And he points something like, I need you to go back to that car, like telling her, get out of the street. Are they in their face blowing whistles? Here's Preddy right here. Oh, he was just a medic, right? What's his hands up? He's trying to stop traffic, telling people to come this way. You're not in charge of the streets, dude. You don't run the streets. Who deputized this guy as a street cop? And this guy's telling these two ladies and this third guy, get the hell out of the road. Have you seen this video? Have you seen this image before? Yeah, David, this is the shit that makes me angry. We have 20+ billion missing and President Trump is just taking his sweet time. Where are the indictments? Now everyone's talking about, ICE and you should be in the streets and abolish ICE. Okay, can we get back to the Democrat domestic terrorists who have been money laundering and bleeding us dry? Tens of billions, more than that. How many trillions of dollars can be directly related? This is just one city in Minnesota. How rampant do you think this fraud is? How rampant do you think it is? Extrapolate that to our top 20, 30, 40, 50 biggest cities. But this is the guy they just tried to paint as some innocent bystander. These two people are in the road in this age. Oh. There he is. He's right in the road blocking traffic. They're honking. They're trying to get around. This guy's blocking traffic. They have to weave out of the way of this guy. He was playing very stupid games. Cosplaying as a superhero. And so he's telling him, get out of the road. I told you multiple times, out of the road.
What the fuck is wrong?
And this guy's like, what the F? What the F? Well, what the F is he told you to get out of the road and you're not leaving the road. You're being removed from the road.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Well, you're impeding a federal investigation. Out of the road. That's when it gets pepper sprayed.
The fuck, people! The fuck is wrong with you?
That's how it all happens.
Honestly.
Yeah. To the people that think they disagree with me, I didn't want to see this. Didn't want to see that. So we don't disagree. Marion says, no, I haven't seen that video or footage before. Yeah, today's the first day I saw it. They played it on Louder with Crowder, I believe. It's why it's really important to maybe wait 72 hours before you form a really hardcore stance on a topic. Because I was ready yesterday, just kind of throw my hands up and go, oh, this one didn't look good. Oh. Of course, I understand that none of this would have happened without the terrible decision-making that put that guy in that situation. It didn't put that guy. He put himself in it all day long. But now, even more so, you're seeing the tactics. You're seeing the escalation tactics. Won't you become our martyr for our cause? Yeah, this footage was very different from what...
What did you just do? What the fuck did you just do?
And then they act surprised. What did you just do? As surprised, we'll play you the lady that picked up the exploding grenade and it exploded in her hand. Oh, you're telling me exploding grenades explode? And that maybe I shouldn't be in the middle of a riot zone where I can pick this up? Yes, that's exactly what we're saying. This isn't a video game. This is real. And it's real unnecessary. It's real unfortunate. Back to Bill O'Reilly, who just made a terrible point saying that you don't carry a gun to protest. I guarantee you that I have gone to an event or two where I had tools at my disposal or my nearby disposal. Because anytime you walk into some of these things, and we've been to some dicey spots, from January 6th to Bundy Ranch, every one of the major political conventions, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. Down in the Bronx, I had such an uneasy feeling in the Bronx. I felt like there was a sniper looking on. And I couldn't quite place it, but I felt like in the park across from the event, there was something. And just like a month or two later, that's where President Trump was shot in Butler. The Marxists, the communists, they are terrified. Nobody likes them. They've lost control. Anyway, Bill O'Reilly, it's totally fine to use your Second Amendment anywhere in America. So I disagree on this point.
Want those people indicted. Clear? Are we clear? But on the same token, you have got two elected officials that could be charged with rebellion and insurrection under the U.S. Code 2383. This is a rebellion. That is why the people are dead. Nobody brings a gun, a loaded gun, nobody, CNN, to a confrontation with federal agents who are under siege.
Well, I agree. You're not supposed to confront federal agents under siege while armed. That's the worst idea I could imagine. And if you are at an event and you are armed, you would keep some distance between yourself in those situations. And if you did end up finding yourself arrested, you certainly don't resist. And you certainly say, I have a firearm, I'm not using it, arrest me if you want. You don't win in those circumstances. Nobody wins. But I swear these people, they're not appreciating the gravity of the situation that they're in. This is not a video game. This is real life. And the Democrats are playing very loose with the value of life, the sanctity of life.
No one does that. That man did. Because, in my opinion, he was so crazed by the situation, so agitated, as I am right now, that he had lost all judgment. Now, listen to me. The authorities, governor, mayor, feds, have to control that. The controlling bureau is the FBI, not Homeland Security. They're doing what they're ordered to do. Find and detain people who should not be here.
There you go. All right, let's keep buzzing through the news here. Keep in mind, at 3 o'clock, we're going to have Strictly Football with myself, Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, Ezrael Robinson at 3 p.m. Eastern, talking about the Super Bowl between the Seahawks and the Patriots, as well as any head coaching changes in the league. Here's Melinda, a healthcare worker at VCU Health, who makes videos encouraging people to do something to ICE agents.
I think it's stuck in the weird spot.
So yeah, ICE agents are being doxxed. They're being told that when ICE agents go into a medical facility, they need to be terminated. Yes, they're being hunted. Yes, they're being doxxed. Yes, they're being attacked on every fucking front. You will not gaslight me into saying none of this is happening. No, they have license plates. They're public. What are you talking about? I don't even understand. Yeah, you understand. Listen to this lady. This is a coordinated campaign of terror.
Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes.
Perhaps some syringes. You take a Hippocratic oath to help everybody and anybody. Except if you're hunting MAGA, then, Civil War time. I'm just a lady in healthcare.
With needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine, whatever. That will probably be a deterrent. Be safe. Okay, for today's resistance tip, I vote.
Resistance tip. Who damaged her brain?
Anybody got any poison ivy, poison oak in their yard? Get some of that up with gloves, obviously. Get it in some water, like a gallon of water. Get the poison ivy oak water, and I'm gonna put it into a water gun. Aim for faces, hands.
This bitch is she just keeps going.
The single ladies where these ICE guys are going have a chance to do something, not without risk, but could help the cause for sure. Get on Tinder, get on Hinge, find these guys. They're around. They're an ICE agent, bring some X-Lax and put it in their drinks. Get them sick. Nobody's gonna.
Yeah, poison people.
Nobody's gonna die. Just enough to incapacitate them, get them off the street for the next day. Highly, easily deniable. You could get sick too.
Yeah, you're sick.
Won't eat there again. I'm just saying. Let's get them where they eat. Somebody's not going to be supporting these guys. Where's the hotel where they eat? Who makes that breakfast?
Oh wait, I thought Nick was saying that nobody's doxing these people. If ICE agents have to cover their face, they're doing a terrible job. Yeah, because bitches like this are trying to kill them. Oh no, but we're making that up, right? We're just making that up, aren't we? Okay, Nick. Good point. We're just making this all up. This lady's not legit. They're not permanently harassing these people in coordinated domestic terrorism campaigns. No. Gaslight me some more, Daddy. Gaslight me, Daddy. I'm in. Try to tell me it's not raining. Then why am I covered in rain? It's not rain. Okay. This is a series from this crazy lady about ways to attack ICE agents.
Find them.
Yeah, I do know. Do you have a second point?
Let's make their lives fucking miserable.
Oh.
I know we're already trying to keep them awake all night. That's good.
Oh, that's good. Terrorism.
Anything you can do to make...
Lots of collateral damage, by the way, to very innocent people around. No regard for anything except your cosplaying effort to be a superhero for the day. Go illegal aliens. Yay, invade our country. You win. You take over. We'll just leave.
Anything you can do to make the living conditions bad.
Mm.
Talk to the people who work at the places where they are. Come up with some ideas. Dead fish. Somewhere in the room hidden. Just stay toxic.
We need an update on this lady. Melinda, VCU Health. Where's the, has she been fired? I guess I'll just ask Grok. Has this woman been indicted and fired yet? It's domestic terrorism. Why wouldn't it let me send that message? Okay. All right. Benny Johnson here. Talking about political violence. What the Democrats are up to.
Benny, do you think that this 37-year-old ICU nurse, Alex Preddy, might have been paid to be out there? You saw the quote from his father. His father said, look, go out and protest all you want. Don't get involved. Don't do something stupid. His words. But he certainly did, didn't he?
I'm sorry, but if you put all the evidence together, Rob, I'm not going to accept this false premise that somehow this is a martyr. If anyone, if you or I or a member of anyone's security team, let's say, if a Secret Service agent started to fight with a bunch of cops and he was armed, I mean, you can expect a bad outcome. Should this be a death sentence? Well, I'm just saying that that's on the list of possibilities when you come with a loaded firearm with a bullet chambered, which is what happened here, and you start fighting with the cops. That's exactly.
You're allowed to be in an event with a chambered bullet. You're allowed to be in an event with a weapon. We have a Second Amendment. We have every right to be to have tools at our disposal. But you have extra requirements to not fight with police, with ICE agents. You have extra responsibilities. There are actual regulations against being armed and then going to a bar and consuming alcohol. There are slight restrictions that sort of make some sense. And one of those is if you're armed, you're not supposed to be fighting with the police. So just Benny getting into this, well, you shouldn't be armed kind of thing. It's a little dangerous there. I caution everyone on the right to not repeat this terrible argument because it's a terrible argument.
You can expect a bad outcome.
But yes, you can absolutely predict that there's no other way this could end, as Adam Carolla says. There's no other way this could go. Of course this is going to happen because, of course, your tactics are terrible. Of course, your instigation efforts are going to lead to this. We've been telling you to stop doing this for weeks, and you just keep ratcheting it up. Tim Waltz, Jacob Frey.
Should this be a death sentence? Well, I'm just saying that that's on the list of possibilities when you come with a loaded firearm with a bullet chambered, which is what happened here, and you start fighting with the cops. That's exactly what he did. He committed a crime here, all right? Let's just look at all available evidence. Alex Preddy committed a crime. He fought and resisted arrest. He fought with federal officers. Same thing with Renee Good. Renee Good was sitting in her car. The officer comes up and says, get out of the vehicle. Instead, she punches it and then hits one of the officers and causes internal bleeding, nearly kills him. You could see it in the body cam footage. She stared down the barrel of that vehicle and tried to run over the officer. That's a homicide, man.
Yeah.
And so, no, I don't agree with this. But one other thing, Rob, that I think is critically important. I will not be lectured to. I will not be moralized. I will not be gaslit. I'm not going to be scolded by a group of individuals who snickered as Charlie Kirk's got his neck blown off on a live stream. They celebrated Charlie Kirk. They laughed in the face of his widow and his orphaned children and all of his friends and all the people who had him on their programs like you. They laughed in our faces. They celebrated. They warned Donald Trump that they'd get a better sniper next time when Trump missed a bullet. They said the sniper, we need to get better shooters. They all said that. They all liked tweets like that.
Yeah.
They praised Luigi Mangione. They celebrated and lionized Luigi Mangione. They have never, ever mourned Ashley Babbitt. They've never mourned Laken Riley. They've never mourned Catherine Nungare. They've never, ever, one time done a march for Irina Zastruka. They've never done that. Why? Because they actually don't care about American lives, certainly innocent American lives, perhaps more innocent than some of these situations. The reason why is because they only care about power. These instances are they're attempting to gain power from them. And so they do not care about life. They only care about the assumption of power. They're Marxists. It's demonic. It's very, very evil, Rob. And so I'm not going to be lectured to or moralized by these people. And I'll say this definitively on your show. Sorry for the long answer, but I'll say it on your show. Every American life lost is a tragedy, whether it's fentanyl or whether it's a shooting in the street. It's all a tragedy. I don't want my fellow Americans to die. And at least I have the moral clarity, and our side has the moral clarity to say it, Rob.
Yeah, great point. Well said, Benny.
Was that this Rob Finnerty twice getting fired up responses, or that was a different guy with Bill O'Reilly? Yeah, they laughed and celebrated when Kirk was emmed. They praised and lionized Luigi Mangione. They mocked the attempted assassination of President Trump, said the shooter should have been better. Never mourned Ashley Babbitt or Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungary, Irina Zarutska. I reject their lectures. Every American life lost is a tragedy. Well said. Here's a report here. Benny Johnson says, how did Ilhan Omar make millions of dollars from a 100% fake winery? Oh, this is going to be a fun story, isn't it? Ilhan Omar lists a California winery on her financial disclosures. You can see them below. The winery name is ESTCRU LLC. Valued at $15,023. 1 year later, valued at $5 million. Wow, this must be a very successful winery to grow that much in value over 1 year, except the winery does not even exist. No phone line, no physical winery, social media gone dark, barely functional website, no wine. What's this? It gets worse. Omar's third husband, Tim Minett, has been accused of defrauding investors through his fake winery. He was sued by the investors for millions because it's all fraudulent. This is on brand. Minnesota AG Keith Ellison previously worked with Minett, the same AG who refused to investigate widespread Somali fraud. How does a non-existent winery jump from $15K to $5 million in 1 year when the company's a ghost? How can Omar claim this fake company provides her millions in assets? Seems like a cover. Ironically, one of the wine labels they made was literally called The Devil's Lie. The Trump administration and Republicans in Congress must investigate this fraud further. How wild is that? This happened yesterday. Oh, check this out. This is crazy. Federal agents crack beers from the top floor as local police finally move in on left-wing rioters attacking their hotel. Incredible. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey bent the knee, and local law enforcement is doing their job. So the people say that President Trump gave in. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's the opposite. There, I gotta mute it because they're playing music. Are they drinking beers up here? They're looking on and they're cheering. They seem like, yeah. Looks like they're drinking. I mean, what a wild place to be. Bunch of people that want to burn the place down because they deem themselves to be judge, jury, and executioner, apparently. Here it is. All it took was one phone call with President Trump for Tim Walz to bend the knee and send in local police to take on rioters. This should have happened on day one, and chaos could have been prevented. Every other Democrat governor should follow along. Watch this. Let me full screen. Yep, there we go.
You are now under arrest. Please sit down and wait for instruction.
All you ever had to do.
Where's your credentials?
I'm at level 12 news.
I can't hear you.
I'm at level 12 news. BG on the scene. I just pressed.
You don't have any press credentials?
I don't. I can tell you
All right, why don't you move out there, okay? Just get out there. Stay outside the line, okay? Coming out. Coming out.
Open chair right next to Charlie Kirk and Dick Cheney.
You hear the protesters? Oh, they're so peaceful. Wishing him to go to hell with Charlie Kirk. Waiting for you in hell, someone with a megaphone is yelling.
Open chair right next to Charlie Kirk and Dick Cheney.
Next to Charlie Kirk and Dick Cheney. These people want you expired, terminated.
They have made multiple arrests. They got a couple of lights into the window.
So that's happening. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Make sure you go on our poll and vote. Who do you think will win the Super Bowl? It's a different question from who you want to win. Go on to X at American_media_ and vote on the poll. Seahawks or Patriots? Elon. Whoa, that's a lot of views. 46 million. Something went wrong. It won't load. C3 said Minnesota fraud. Tim Waltz was in on it. Jacob Frey in on it. Tina Smith, Ilhan Omar, Techie Brown, Keith Ellison, Amy Klobuchar, Peggy Flanagan, Nancy Daubenberger was in on it. Every last one. Oh, yeah, and Melissa Hortman, the only Democrat willing to fight it. And they exterminated her. Oh, it's bad. It is time to lock up Tim Waltz, Ilhan Omar, Keith Ellison, and the rest. They all knew. Yeah, they didn't all know. They were all co-conspirators. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is an insurrectionist. Arrest her, says Dina. Meet Flan Southside, a.k.a. Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, dispatch admin of the Signals chat group. Of course, Anita Smithson would include her to this group to run dispatch operations. Still figuring out who Boogie is. Maybe it's Tim Waltz. Obama signaled. Waltz signaled. Flanagan signaled. West, the counter state academy, signaled. And Marxist players are calling for a general strike, a term that is a known understanding. All these are indicators that a decision has been made to escalate this to insurgency. Synchronization, severe warning. It's time for Pam Bondi to indict Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan for the murder for coordinating the Signal chat anti-ICE riots and the death of one of her own. Remember this one? She had this shirt with a big knife on it, protect trans kids. Thanks, Lake Leon. Go Browns. Oh, wait, sorry. Go Seabirds. All right. Can't think the Patriots will win. Marion wants the Seahawks. I'll be pulling for the Seahawks. All right, let's watch Tom
Show
Homan.
this morning you have
Tom Homan resetting the narrative. Tom Homan resetting the narrative. Do you think sending Tom Homan in is a white flag of surrender? Let's take a look at how he handles this interview with Mika Brzezinski, Zerbigny Brzezinski's kid, right?
I see on the show this morning you have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False. Didn't happen.
They were parked there. They did not do an operation there. She said they were parked in a public space legally.
But to say that and to push that out there puts fear in the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's happening.
To do that puts fear in the community. To park the ICE agent's vehicle
They're on a
near
public
a church.
street.
They
They're
are
on a public street.
She
They're
said
on a public
that,
street
sir.
waiting to respond to a criminal alien release pulled aside the road. Let me tell you, in the last couple of days, what's happened in Boston. They've arrested Victor Gomez Perez, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Guatemala, with charges of aggravated rape, assault and battery with dangerous weapon, indecent assault and battery on a victim 14 years or younger. They arrested Kaylee Espinosa, a 34-year-old criminal alien from Colombia, with charges of aggravated assault on a pregnant victim. They arrested Joshua Gonzalez, a 23-year-old criminal alien from Dominican Republic, with charges for trafficking heroin, morphine, opium, resisting police, disorderly conduct, and drug distribution. They also arrested Samuel Armando Barrero, a 20-year-old criminal illegal alien from Guatemala, pending charges for assault and battery on a child. So Mayor Wu and Governor Healy, they ought to be calling ICE and thanking them for making their streets safer, for protecting their communities and taking these people off the street. They've turned a blind eye to this. They're sanctuary cities. Sanctuaries, cities, and sanctuary states are sanctuaries for criminals. Give ICE access to the jail to arrest a bad guy in the jail rather than having to go in the community to find them. Because when you go in the community and find them, it puts ICE officers at greater risk. It puts the community at greater risk. It puts the alien at greater risk because anything can happen on the street risk. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to prioritize public safety threats when you got governors and mayors who are releasing these public safety threats every day into the community. That causes the crime rate, and we've seen some terrible incidents in the last few days where innocent victims are murdered. This past year, I've seen innocent Americans raped and murdered by people who are not supposed to be here. So rather than going back and forth and say, well, ICE has got a car parked near a church, that is ridiculous. You're out there looking for people like this, exactly what they're doing.
Well, I would argue that actually that the ICE vehicle parked outside a Spanish mass is a frightening sight, given what has happened in this country. I also, with respect, sir, thank you for the information that you have shared on this show, but we would appreciate all of the information. All of it. All of the data that you say you have.
I've done this show several times. Every time I'm on your show, I speak with integrity, I speak with honesty, and I speak with facts. The bottom line is, because of all this false narrative, and you using the term disappearing people,
well,
is
that's
disgusting.
What's happened. That happened to the group that was sent to El Salvador.
U.S. citizens get arrested every day. U.S. citizens get arrested by police every day. Are they being disappeared? No, their laws are being enforced. They're being arrested. They're being put in detention because they committed a criminal offense.
Not like what you're doing.
Not even close. We're enforcing the law and arresting people here in violation of law that are public safety threats. That's not disappearing people. That's enforcing the laws of this country and making this country safer.
Yep, and they just will not stop lying. I question the integrity of someone that's just going to keep regurgitating these lies. And so should you. You know, I strive to have mostly civil conversations, but I will draw a line in the sand. And you got to set some of this stuff right. Some of this stuff is very upside down right now. Charles says,
I see on the show this morning.
Charles says, I love this old school badass. Check out yesterday's show. What's the anti-ICE endgame? America won't surrender our borders. Let's see. 0 Hour 1 says Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, one of the admins of the Signal chat, means state of Minnesota is behind these protests that led to 2 deaths now. It's not organic. It's an insurrection at the very top. Paul Morrow says, if this is accurate, the subpoenas will soon be flying. It shows you how deeply penetrated the Minnesota leadership is. Federal conspiracy charge is likely at the least. This is astounding, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. So here are the terms that President Trump has laid out to Tim Waltz in no uncertain terms. Yeah, Kenneth, Tom Homan, 2028. I mean, not bad, actually. You know, like Leon, it's the reason I don't ban Nick. It's the reason why I still engage with people that won't block me on Facebook. We might be the only sane person in their life. And yeah, at some point, I mean, we've all had to disconnect from people that will continue insulting us. I don't need to tolerate that. I'm good. If you want to have a legitimate conversation, you're more than welcome. But no, I'm not going to keep taking insults. No, fuck that. I'm good. But I'll try. Somebody in Facebook responded to a post that I made and had some derogatory things to say. He's like, well, I don't unfriend him. I keep him around. He's the only one I know that's kooky like that. And I'm dealing with a family member, someone close. We'll just say someone close. And he said, it's weird even trying to talk to you anymore. And I'm like, do you really not have anyone in your life giving you any common sense commentary? Where do we exactly disagree? Because I think they build a version up of things that you haven't said. I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody that does that. There's a whole story that plays out that never happened. You can't compete against that. So yeah. Leon says, quit going on these left corrupt so-called news shows. This might be the only chance an MSNBC viewer will hear some of these data points. Here's some of these statistics. It might be the only, you might be able to wake some people up with this. Kenneth, shouldn't it be BS NBC? Yes, that's a good name for it. The reason, Brian, is the left will all say Tom is lying, so it doesn't do any good by our side. I take your point. Like Leon, to me, it's a waste of time. I know. Some people would tell Botanical that it's a waste of time being on this show, and some people will tell me that it's a waste of time letting me that it's a waste of time for me to let him keep sticking around. Did a 30-minute timeout today because we can have conversation. I'm not putting up with insults. Like we can, I've called that account out several times for being a dick. So stop being a dick or go away. Ice is impeding my fishing. And David says, Botanicals never responded on how to fix the problem. Well, I think they did, just like Dan Johnson did last week. He goes, it's not a problem. And you go, well, then I guess we've reached an impasse. We fundamentally disagree on reality. I don't know where to go here. Because they say there's nothing, no problem. Just let them stay. Okay. That's a fundamental disagreement. I guess there's nothing much else to say. David says there's no simple solution, but if people don't get involved with their operations, things like these deaths wouldn't probably happen. Of course. Of course. All right, so watch this. This is super important. The terms have been laid out by Carolyn Levitt, speaking on behalf of President Trump.
In Minnesota. Number 1, Governor Waltz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number 2, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Waltz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota. ICE and local law enforcement can peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions. Additionally, President Trump is calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation ending sanctuary cities once and for all. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding citizens only, not for dangerous illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and do not belong here. We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe following their call this morning.
So there it's laid out. Pretty crystal clear. That doesn't sound like Trump is capitulating. It sounds like the terms have been made clear. Yeah, these are all common sense things. I'm not going to be gaslit to say that these are not common sense things, because they are very common sense. All right. Yeah, this is Trump, Tim Waltz calling President Trump. Take a listen here.
Moments ago, Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that. That is a critically important development. Moments ago.
All right. So keep your eyes peeled. BG on the scene. After one call with Trump, Tim Waltz discovers he can actually stop the rioters in his state by sending in state police. Imagine if he had done this from the start. Renee and Alex might still be alive. Yep. First day, that's what they needed to do. So damn easy right there. You just take them to the paddy wagon and you load them up. You bring a fleet of paddy wagons. You just arrest them one by one. And then it's done. Then it's done. Look at us. We're saving democracy. We're protecting criminal illegal aliens. We want our country overthrown. We're all drummers. All right, any more arrests in here? Now about 1,000 more. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is traveling to Iowa to highlight how economic policies are beginning to kick in. New year, new tax policy, new economic policy.
Largest tax cuts in history.
While they're trying to destroy President Trump, keep in mind, he's trying to fix a massive mess that he inherited from Biden.
Largest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, overtime. Working people are helped. No tax on Social Security. That helps the elderly. We have the lowest gas prices in 4 years. We have inflation now finally in check. We have literally trillions in manufacturing, committed manufacturing dollars, accelerated by 100% depreciation, 4.3% in the third quarter, GDP growth. Atlanta Fed predicting 5.4% for the fourth quarter. What does that mean to the average American?
Sean, it means that President Trump's policies that we put in place last year are really starting to kick in now. I'm excited to go with him to Iowa tomorrow, and he is going to tell a great story, and he can tell it like no one else can tell it. And as you said, this is the one big beautiful bill kicking in on the business side, full expensing. We've got a CapEx boom. CapEx boom is going to lead to an employment boom. Employment boom leads to a consumer spending boom. And then on the other side, as you said, his signature policies: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of American-made cars. He's keeping his promises to working Americans. We announced the tax season is now open, and we're going to see substantial refunds for working Americans. They're going to change their withholding and have bigger take-home pays every 2 weeks, every month. So it's really an exciting time. And, you know, Sean, we've done it all with lower government spending.
Keep in mind, they're trying to keep your eyes off of the economic successes. So we got to refocus. We got to talk about more than just Democrat domestic terrorism. And yeah, it would be great if they'd just get arrested. Dustin Grage says, so a lot of people are asking why police actually did their jobs last night. What happened wasn't in Minneapolis. It was in Maple Grove, which is a wealthier suburban community. Oh, okay. So that's a little different. About half the elected representation there are Republicans, and they still care about law and order. Evil Texan says, after Benny Johnson went digging on Ilhan Omar, I went digging a little bit on the squad. Rashida Tlaib is a broke-ass MFer, by the way. However, Ayanna Pressley, Massachusetts has some interesting things going on. Husband pulling in $1 million a year from government-funded sources. What's that mean? Went from $12,500 net worth in 2018 to $8 million now. $8 million increase in 6 years on a $174,000 congressional salary. Whole deep dive. I encourage you to take a look. Town Hall says, hey, here's a reminder. Kenneth Marino Guzman was an illegal alien who forced his way through the back of a door of a Georgia mobile home and arred an 11-year-old at knife point in the bedroom that she shared with her 10-year-old sister. This happened last week. But Georgia Senator Ossoff was tweeting about Minneapolis, but nothing about this in their backyard in Georgia, because illegal aliens shouldn't even be here to abuse our 10-year-olds. Kick them all out, and if they want to come back, go through the front door. This is a voting machine certifier of 9 years saying election day glitch took out 260 of 446 machines. That it was deliberate, and Runback whistleblower confirms that they printed, legally dumped 300,000 fake ballots into the count. Not from voters, just smuggled in by insiders to flip the state of Arizona, according to Bill Mitchell. I don't know if that's true or not, but he says Trump's DOJ needs to move fast. Arizona was robbed. Kerry Lake was robbed. The people were robbed. Time to arrest the crooks and clean the house before they try it again in 26. My, oh my, do we need to move fast. All right. Tim Pool says after Biden was sworn in, it only took months for feds to start rounding up J6ers. Many were charged with misdemeanor trespass and were not involved in any violence. These people went to prison. A year into Trump, and Democrat leftist insurgent groups are operating out in the open. Go figure. Brandon Gill talking about why the rioters are doing what they're doing to distract from President Trump's success.
Democrats want to distract from anything other than the successes that this president has had over the past year. You know, this has probably been the most successful presidency, certainly in modern history. And Democrats recognize that. They recognize that the American people want secure borders. They want an economy that is livable, where American families have opportunity to get good jobs that pay good wages. They want their children to go to schools that aren't infected with this woke, perverted, critical race theory or other woke ideologies, and that's what President Trump has delivered. So the American people are thrilled with him. What Democrats are doing anything they can to...
What's he got on his head? It's got like a... What is that?
To distract from that, including if that means agitating violence in our cities to stop DHS and ICE from carrying out lawful immigration arrests. Democrats.
Yep, agree. Dr. Oz, is this the real Dr. Oz? The full account? I don't know. Official X account for Dr. Mehmet Oz. LA County has become the epicenter for healthcare fraud in America. Criminals corrupted the system so much that the fraud is now almost expected. President Trump made it clear we will not tolerate the patient harm or taxpayer-funded theft any longer. More to come. Folks, this is going to get so much bigger than Minneapolis. Buckle up.
Big hospice center. There are apparently quite a few hospices around here, 42 within a 4-block radius. And
wow,
these guys stole $16 million. And listen carefully. The main guy went to jail for 2 years, stealing $16 million, which is a good trade-off for a lot of folks. And if you look at it, it's pretty indescript. There wasn't anyone really in there. They weren't doing any services. They just got an address they could claim was a hospice. And then they ran the business, claiming people were at home getting services, which they really weren't. What we have learned is there's roughly $3.5 billion of fraud taking place here in Los Angeles in hospice and home care. It's
dig into the deep dive of that. Disgraced Lincoln Project founder Rick Wilson is calling for violence against Stephen Miller. Will any of these people be held accountable?
When Stephen Miller goes out and calls a guy who was, by every account so far, who never had a legal problem, had a concealed carry permit, had a gun permit in Minnesota,
blocking the street, interfering with a official investigation, inserting himself, making contact with police officers, and then resisting arrest. If you're not resisting arrest, you put your hands prone to out to the side or behind you and say, arrest me.
He was a nurse. He was nice to his neighbors.
He was an agitator all day long, according to sources. Let me ask Grok about that, by the way.
You know what? Stephen Miller went out and called him a domestic terrorist, claiming he was trying to assassinate those ICE agents. You know, I almost tweeted this today, and I know I'll get canceled for saying this. I know I'm going to get in trouble. I want Stephen Miller to be the #1 in the Nuremberg trials when this is done. When this is done, I want Stephen Miller to be the first one who is tried and convicted and fucking dangles. Okay? I want him to be brought before a court of law because he is the sole executive that runs all this DHS ICE stuff, the ICE Stapo.
Okay. Wants Nuremberg trials for that. Grok is saying no, by the way. Was not harassing ICE the whole day. So let me multiple eyewitness accounts, filming, attempting to assist or protect a woman, holding his phone and raising a hand, suddenly hold on. Tracked an ICE vehicle, interfered with agents a week earlier. They said he broke a rib. Rib broken by a previous fight with ICE. Yes, according to multiple reports citing sources, Alex Preddy had a rib broken in a previous confrontation with federal agents and ICE Border Patrol a week before the fatal shooting. Detail emerged from CNN, New York Post, Daily Mail. Roughly a week prior, during protests against Trump, stopped his car after seeing ICE agents. He began shouting, then blowing a whistle to intervene or draw attention. 5 federal agents tackled him, with one agent leaning or pressing on his back, resulting in a broken rib. Preddy later told the source he thought he was going to die during the encounter and was treated with medication consistent with rib fracture, records reviewed by CNN. Released at the scene without arrest. They were doing intelligence collection. Yeah, they're being hunted. They're hunting ICE. No direct family statements about the broken rib. So okay, hold on. Was he following ICE, blocking traffic, and impeding investigations with ICE the day he said blocking traffic in a sustained way? I watched him do it. Okay, so thanks for nothing, Grok. Waving a car past or helping manage flow amid the disruption caused by the agent's actions. The disruption was caused by you and your 2 friends blocking traffic. It's unreal. Okay. So I'll stop saying that until I can get some more information. But that's what I heard this morning. It's okay. We'll walk that back. According to WOW KTV, Virginia librarian Morgan Morrow has been arrested following reporting of her appearing to recruit individuals to take out President Trump. She reportedly told police the reasons for wanting Trumpcade. Sounds like the sheriff did a good job here, arresting this lunatic. Redistricting project in 2030 apportionment. Says President Trump would have won 2024, 322 to 216. Even if Kamala won Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, Trump still would have won 280 to 258. This is the one and only reason why Democrats are fighting so hard to stop illegals from being deported. Their ability to continue winning elections is at stake without them, the illegal aliens, and they'll burn down the country to keep them here, says Greg Price. St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Amen. Matt Whitlock says Virginia under Abigail Spanberger is attempting a wild experiment. They're simultaneously making it harder to put violent criminals and arrests in jail by getting rid of mandatory minimums, while also simultaneously trying to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves. Look at Virginia, people. Look how they want to take you back to the Stone Ages. Never vote Democrat ever again. NBC News casually mentions 10 months before the 2020 election that ES&S is using 14,000 modems to connect voting machines to the internet. Oh my. Watch that report. Homeland Security put this out. Local Minnesota police arrested violent rioters last night. Glad to see some state and local government cooperation. It's a start. Is this
What the fuck, Carlson?
No. There we go. I want to start making physical contact with the police. It's a brilliant idea. Asking for trouble.
Move back! Stand back! The area. If you do not do so, move
Funny. Anyway, finally a little bit of dispatch. All right. That's good to see. DC Drano says Minnesota State Police finally activated to protect federal agents while they sleep. But I want to honor the federal agent who stood watch alone 2 nights ago, bleeding, disoriented, surrounded by jackals. But he stood strong and protected the rule of law, a true American patriot. Yes. Who is this guy? Bloody on both his hands, bloody in his nose. Good job. Thank you. Lawrence Public Schools, Kansas, send out a notice saying they want to walk out to indoctrinate their kids to hate ICE. And we just say, pull your kids from these indoctrination camps. He's talking about when the signs are pre-made, it's decided in a meeting room. Money has to get cleared, and that's how it's done. There are funders pushing the agitators out there. That's how it works. DHS raid in Tempe, Arizona. And guess what? Leftist protesters materialized on the spot like clockwork. These ICE hunting networks are nationwide, well-funded, well-organized, coordinated chaos machines, just like we saw in Minnesota. All right. Yeah, Obama, Clinton released statements about the ICE shootings. Both ex-presidents Obama, Clinton released public statements criticizing Trump admin, calling on public to stand up for freedom and speak out and hold the government accountable. But make no mistake, this is according to Jens Petru. Obama, Clinton couldn't care less about freedom for Americans. They're part of the New World Order Club. They play their part. They're playing us, using two sides against each other, so they, the elite, can profit from it. When we're divided, they rule, and people fall for it. The real power behind the scenes controls both the Republican Party and Democrat Party. The illusion of a two-party system. But at the end, it's a uniparty agenda. Clinton and George H.W. Bush were actually good friends. If people would just take a step back from the drama and see how we're being played, they want the left fighting the right and vice versa. They want the chaos and emotion because that's how they remain in control. Obama, Clinton, Trump are just as much a part of it. See, that's echoing what, this is severe distrust of Trump for trying to clean up this mess. I don't think they're all on the same team. Two parties, two different faces, two heads of the same dragon. I don't know. I would disagree there. Obama and Clinton called the Minnesota riots as peaceful. Great. And cautioned that Americans might never regain their freedom. Interesting. President Trump put this out about Tim Waltz.
Former mafia boss who went to jail for running one of the most sophisticated frauds, Michael Franzese, says there is no way that Governor Tim Walz and the leaders in Minnesota didn't know about this sophisticated Somali fraud to get money from America to make them rich, to get money from America to send it over to terrorists, all in exchange for votes. Listen to this as we react to this incredible video together. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll put a direct link to Michael's channel down below.
Seeing so far, it's very simple. You set up a daycare center or centers, food sites, nonprofits on paper, all on paper. You file forms that say you're feeding tens of thousands of kids. You're billing the state and the feds for meals and care that never really happens. Very simple. You move the money into other companies. You move them into cars, houses. Believe me, I know this. Sometimes you move it out of the country. I did that. In my day, it was gas taxes, not kids' meals. We didn't go after kids' meals. We didn't hurt kids. We didn't hurt families in that regard. We created dummy corporations. We collected the tax from the wholesaler, the station owner at times, and or at the pumps. We collected the tax, but we didn't pay it to the government. We kept the money. But also, we gave some of the money back to the consumer, back to the taxpayer in the form of lower gas prices at the pump. So we didn't take it all. We gave some back to the consumer. They were paying less at the pumps. It's why they called us Robin Hood. We didn't keep it all. Unlike the greedy perpetrators in this Minnesota fraud, they kept it all. They stole all the taxpayer money. They have a different product, but they had the same mobster mentality. They robbed the taxpayers' money. They did it with a pen and a government program. We did it with a license at that time and a little persuasion on our part. Thieves. What this tells me is this is organized. It's not sloppy paperwork. And there are a couple of big red flags here.
Yeah, and you got to love when they say, oh, this happened under our watch. We're so surprised to learn about this. No, not when you're a co-conspirator.
The scale of it. When you're taking hundreds of millions of dollars and now over $1 billion, many billions, in suspected social services fraud in one state, that's not a mistake. That's a business model. That's one red flag. Second red flag, patterns. Multiple daycare and food sites with no kids on site, locked doors, recycled addresses, but all billing like crazy. That's how you spread the risk through a network. Why didn't Tim Waltz know this? Why didn't Ilhan Omar know this? Why didn't any of the government officials know this? The doors were locked, there were no kids, and they were still being billed, still billing the government because they were all sharing in it. Don't let them gaslight you. Don't let them kid you. Tim Walz is up there blaming everybody else. He's dropped out of the race for governor now. He may go to jail. He should go to jail. He should be held accountable. Remember, the buck stops with me, the guy on the top. Take responsibility. They never do that. Biden didn't do it. Walz is not going to do it. They're not going to do it. People in political power, they don't take responsibility. That's the second red flag. Third, timing. A lot of this grew out of COVID emergency money and loose welfare programs where the message was pay first, ask questions later.
Uh-huh. So a lot of people are saying that the stuff happening in in Minneapolis is happening because they need a distraction away from Trump's successes, fixing so many of the broken problems on the global stage, on the local stage, and to distract from the Somali fraud. And it's not Somali fraud, it's Democrat fraud. So we'll see. We'll see tonight what it looks like out there on the streets with Tom Homan in. New strategy. allegedly willingness to partner with Tim Waltz, according to President Trump. We'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'm going to pay close attention. Very curious to see how this shakes out. That's where I'm going to leave things today on the TNAM Daily Show. Thank you for watching. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. We have Rumble rants and super chats if you want to throw a tip in, as well as anything on PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We're going to be back in about 25 minutes with Strictly Football. We're going to discuss the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is set. Myself, Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, Ezrael Robinson. We're going to be discussing the Seahawks and the Patriots. They got the victory, and they are going to be playing in 2 weeks in the Super Bowl. So join us in about 20 minutes. We're going to get that show queued up and ready to go. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, share the show with a friend. Signing out for everybody there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.